Hey, you. Yeah, you. See this button right here? Press it. Subscribe to the channel. Shalom.
In Espanol, right? Either or? Okay, all right, I'm going to deal with you. So, when you examine this, right, this is what destroyed us. This is what made us think that we're Catholic. This is what made us think that we're Christians. This is what made us think that we're Gentiles, right? In the Bible, and this is what makes us think that Negroes is not my family and Latinos is not my family because of religion. It raped, robbed, and divided us. But guess what? Y'all know that that's in the Bible? Us being divided, that's in the Bible? Watch this. I'm going to read something to you real quick. Give me Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. Watch this. Listen good.
Psalms chapter 2 and verse 1. Why do the heathen rage?
So the heathen is talking about the nations outside of Israel, right? Y'all are the Israelites, right? But the so-called white man, they're enraged. Why? Because the blessings that was in the Bible was only given to the Negroes and the Hispanics, right? And that made them angry. So read it one more time.
Why do the heathen rage? And the people imagine a vain thing.
And our people that's caught up in Christianity, we imagine lies. We think that God loves everybody because the white man taught us that God loves everybody. But when you read in the Bible, how you doing, family? How you doing, brother? So you speak English too, right? Let me bring you up to date. I'm good because my Spanish is weak. It's not that very good. But watch this. We talking about how they divided the Latinos and the Negroes, right? That's in the Bible because the only difference between you and me is a boat stop. The only difference between you and me is that the Spanish gave y'all their language and the English or the British gave us their language. That's why I speak English, but I've never been to England, and you speak Spanish, and a lot of our people never been to Spain. So watch this. Read it one more time.
Why do the heathen rage?
So the heathen is referring to the white people, the people that colonized. They're enraged, they're angry, right? Read.
And the people imagine a vain thing.
And our people imagine that Christ died for everybody. Our people imagine that Christ is a white man. Read.
The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers.
Listen good, don't worry about that. That's just distraction for y'all. Read it again.
The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord.
So what's going on, right? Y'all ever heard of the is it called the National Conference? Where all the nations get together and they discuss war matter tactics. Y'all ever heard of the Berlin Conference? All right, so for instance, the people that put together ISIS, you know, ISIS, that agency that they used to deport our brothers back, right? Guess what? It took a place where they had to take counsel. They had to talk about, okay, how can I separate the Latinos from the Negroes? Like, for instance, remember at the border, probably a year back, you had the Haitian refugees trying to get to the border, right? They was in Mexico, right? When the white man found out about it, he wanted to separate them as a people. All that's going on in the world, that's historically proven. God wrote about that a long time ago. That makes sense? All right, okay, y'all follow me. Read on. Verse 3.
Verse 3. Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
So the council went into them breaking our bands asunder. What does a rubber band do? Y'all play cards? Y'all don't play cards? Okay, so newspaper, right? Y'all know a newspaper, right? In order for the newspaper not to fall apart, you put a rubber band on it, right? So it keeps it together. Okay, I'm trying to make it plain for my people, right? Read it one more time.
Let us break their bands asunder.
So just like us, what kept us together was the Bible. The so-called white man, he said, let us break that from them so they can be divided. So they can think that, okay, he's a Latino and I'm a Negro. This is all crafty counsel from a higher power. So read it again.
Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
The cords is talking about the Bible because the Bible, we are the children of the Bible. The so-called blacks, we come from Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And the Latinos, y'all come from Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon, Issachar, Gad, Reuben, and so on and so forth. We are the children of the book, but their objective have always been to divide and conquer us. But guess what? You know what's happening in the last days? What's going on in Florida?
They passed that one law that immigrants can't stay without papers. You gotta have papers.
Right.
To work. Was it Area 42? Yeah, something like that. Everyone's leaving that. Florida's going to hell right now.
That's all Bible prophecy.
Yeah,
Don't leave yet. Don't leave, brothers. What's their name? Don't leave yet. Un momento. Y'all in a rush to do what?
I'm a rush too. I'll stick around.
Watch this. Because guess what? Do y'all learn this information at the church? You do. So you've learned that you was not called a Honduras, but you're a Zebulon in the church. You learned that you're an Israelite in the church.
They talk about Title 42 in the church.
Do they talk about Title 42 in the church? Because guess what? Watch this. All that's been prophesied. Come on, let's start real quick, bro. Give me Psalms 83 and 2. You know who King David is? King David is a man after God's heart. King David was he had favor in the eyesight of the Lord. King David was one of our former kings in the Bible. So watch what he saw in the spirit and watch what he said the Lord asked the Lord to do. Go to Psalms 83 and 2. Verse 1, start at 1, verse 1, but read it through.
Psalm chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace.
What was that thing that y'all was talking about in Florida? Title 42, right? Guess what? King David saw that in the spirit. And this is what he said to the Most High God. Because he saw the things that we don't see on a normal basis. Because what they giving us? They giving us the NBA playoffs. They giving us soccer. They giving us Telemundo. They giving us all the stuff to keep us distracted on what this Bible's talking about. That's why King David had to say this. Read it again.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God.
King David said, don't hold back. You see what they doing, don't hold back. I said, come on up, bro. Read.
For lo, thine enemies.
Thy what?
Thine enemies.
Y'all know that God got enemies? God got enemies for sure. Everybody got enemies. But guess what? God got enemies, therefore we're the children of God, so there are enemies as well too. Right. So watch this. Read on.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that have hate thee have lifted up the head.
Y'all know what a tumult is? A tumult is a council. A tumult is a council where you think to do evil against another people. King David said, listen, you got enemies out there, Lord, that's thinking to do evil against them. That's why they was able to pass that bill in Florida. That's why they was able to pass that bill in California, ISIS and so on and so forth, because that's the tumult or that angry gathering they want to destroy us. This is in the Bible. Read on.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Who is thy people? You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You're the Israelites. Right. You're not Latino. You're not Puerto Rican. You're the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. And God said we have enemies. Read. Okay, you're an Aztec. You come from the tribe of Issachar.
The only reason I said mine is that my place never got
No, you are a Zebulon. Actually, you're Zebulon. I'm sorry.
My place never got conquered by Spaniards. That's the thing.
Oh, no?
I got my own language. I got my language.
Okay, guess what? Where's your homeland in the Bible?
I don't believe in that Bible.
Why you not? You believe in history, right?
I believe, because think about it. My God ain't like, so, don't get me wrong. I believe in God.
Right.
That's the thing. But where I come from, I got different gods.
I know.
I got God of water, the
I
God
know.
of sun, and all that. So that's my God.
I know.
Yeah.
And guess what? What you think the concept? Absolutely. So y'all agree with what he's talking about, right? Y'all got different gods, right? Right. Different. The sun god, the water god. Y'all got gods.
Yeah,
Guess
that's my
what?
God. Yeah.
Guess what? What you think the consequences was for y'all believing in that?
We died. They killed us. They're saying that we was.
So why couldn't the water god come through and bring forth a tsunami? Why couldn't the sun god come through and turn up the heat to the point where they couldn't take it? You know why? You know why? Watch this. Give me, what's that one where it says the gods? The gods, Psalms. Thank you. Psalms? No.
Hold on.
96 and 5. Give me that. Watch this. Psalms 96 and 5.
Psalms chapter 96 and verse 5. For all the gods of the nations.
So all the gods of the nations, right? You got the sun god, you got the water god, right? You got Buddha, you got the fish god. So Allah, all of them, right? Read.
For all the gods of the nations are idols.
God said the God that created the heavens and the earth, the God that gave the stamp of the signature of approval for us to go into slavery. He said, listen, all those gods that you think is gods, they're not gods. They're idols. They're idols. And I'm going to read your history, right? Because we was worshiping the sun god, right? You had animal sacrifice and so on and so forth. You know that's in the Bible? That's what y'all was doing. What y'all was doing. I'm glad you brought that up, man. Because
I know my history someday or there.
you do know your history, but you might have not known that your history is in the Bible. Your history is in the Bible. All this that y'all was doing, right? Worshiping the sun god, right? Inti, and worshiping this guy right here. All these different gods. The result of y'all doing that was slavery. And I'm going to read that in the Bible. Give me Hosea chapter 8, verse 11. Listen good. Y'all pay attention. Y'all familiar with this history, right? I got you. And that's why I want to leave you with this so you take something. Watch this. Hosea 8 and 11. Hold on. What's your name, folks? Hector? Hey, my name Rafan. We brothers, bro. Watch this. Listen good.
Hosea chapter 8 and verse 11. Because Ephraim had many altars to sin.
So Ephraim, you might have not known, was the lead of the Latinos, right? So Ephraim represents the northern kingdom. That's the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, the Dominicans, the Guatemalans, the Panamanians, the American Indians, the Seminole Indians, the Colombians, the Mexicans, Argentina. So when the Bible refers to Ephraim, he's talking about all of those tribes, right? Read it again.
Because Ephraim hath made many altars to sin.
We had many altars. There you go, your pyramids in Central America and Mexico. Y'all made many of them. Many of them still stand, and y'all have many of them that was destroyed, right? So he says y'all made many altars. Read.
Altars shall be unto him to sin. I have written to him the great things of my law.
Because the Bible always was meant for y'all. Because some of the customs y'all was keeping, right? Like, for instance, the fringes, right? A lot of people think that was a funny dress code, but that was a dress code that was given to the children of Israel from God.
Right.
When you read Numbers 15 and 38, this dress code, the fringes and the border of blue, y'all got that from Moses.
That's right.
So watch this, read on.
But they were counted as a strange thing.
But guess what? Originally when y'all came over here, y'all wanted to keep the commandments, but eventually y'all went off and then God's laws got counted as a strange thing. Why? Because y'all replaced God's laws with the sun god. Y'all replaced God's laws with the water god. Y'all replaced God's laws with the earth god, the spirit god, and all these other idols that y'all was worshiping.
Right.
Read.
They sacrificed flesh for the sacrifices of mine offering.
And y'all went so far off to the point where the Aztecs would snatch up my brothers and be like, you know what, come on. Instead of us sacrificing a sheep or a goat, we're going to strip you, put blue paint on you, and then we're going to put you on the top of the altar, and we're going to kill you. That's what the Bible, when it says strange flesh, it's talking about your brother. So watch this, read it again.
They sacrificed flesh for the sacrifices of mine offering. And eat it.
And eat it. Y'all went into cannibalism. Y'all started eating your own people. Read. And you should know what I'm talking about because you're a historian, right? Read.
But the Lord accepted them not.
But God wasn't dealing with that. God wasn't dealing with that. Read.
Now will he remember their iniquity and visit their sin. They shall return to Egypt.
They shall do what?
Return to Egypt.
They shall do what?
Return to Egypt.
Did y'all know what Egypt meant in the Bible? Because he said, listen, y'all going to go back into Egypt for these evils that y'all doing. Let's find out what the Egypt is talking about. Hold on, we almost done. Hold on. Read this. Because he said y'all going to go into Egypt for doing these evil things. Read.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of what?
of bondage.
What did Egypt represent?
Bondage.
What's a modern today word for bondage? If I bring a whole entire nation into bondage, what's a modern word for that today? I give you a hint. It starts with an S. Slavery. Slavery. So when the Lord refers to Egypt, he calls it bondage. Another word for bondage is slavery. Go back to Hosea chapter 8, verse 13, so you can understand the Egypt that he said that you would go into for animals or for human sacrifice. Read that again.
Hosea.
I got you. I'm going to leave you with this.
Hosea 8, verse 13. They sacrifice flesh for the sacrifices of mine offerings.
Talking about your brother. We went into cannibalism. Read.
And eat it, but the Lord accepted it not. Now will he remember their iniquity.
Remember the sins that we did. Read.
And visit their sins. They shall return to Egypt.
What's another word for Egypt? We just read it. It starts with an S. Slavery. That's what the Bible's talking about. So when you say that, guess what? Y'all was worshiping other gods? You was. That's true. That's a fact. But the one true God said, listen, because y'all did that, y'all went into slavery. That's why they was able to overthrow y'all. Not because y'all was inferior or y'all was weaker. It's because we went against God. Therefore, God brought upon us a great curse. My question is, this book, right? Big book, right? Why the priests? Why the Catholic Church ain't teaching us that? That's plain, right? That makes sense, right?
It's true, because they don't want us to learn. They want to just keep us, under the skin. I don't know.
Absolutely, because they want us to remain in sin. They want you to remain being a cholo, a chicano. They want me to be a Negro and so on and so forth. They don't want us to return back to God. But guess what?
They don't see what's true.
But guess what? The truth is that we got to keep God's laws. That's what the truth is. So when Christ said, you shall know the truth, give me that real quick. Psalms 119 and verse 142. The truth have always been, keep the laws of God. Keep the laws of God. Watch, I'm going to read it to you.
Psalms chapter 119, verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness. And thy law,
And thy what?
and thy law is the truth.
So, bro, what's the truth? Listen good. That's what I'm saying. You want to leave because you ain't listening. Listen.
Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness. And thy law is the truth.
What is the truth?
Thy law is the truth.
That's why we went into slavery. Because we left the truth. Y'all started creating your own truth. And therefore the Lord brought the conquistadors to smash you.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.